Hello and welcome to another Couch Combat devlog. Couch Combat is a split-screen multiplayer game that I'm developing using Unity, and this is the 12th devlog for it. Last episode I did quite a bit, but the main focus by the end of it was on explosives and throwables. This episode will mostly just be me laying the groundwork for several new things, as well as making a new weapon. Anyways, I started off working on throwables again. I needed an animation if I wanted to have throwables in the game, so I animated one for the basic grenade in Blender. I have yet to actually implement the throwables into the game, but I should hopefully get that done eventually. I mean, after all, I've been promising throwables since like the third devlog, so it would be nice to get them out soon. I've been focusing on the visuals of the game quite a bit lately, and there's one thing that's been bothering me, and probably some of you guys since the beginning of this game's development. The arms look awful on the third-person models, and they don't even exist whenever you don't have a gun. So I'm hopefully going to finally solve that using inverse kinematics. I have literally no idea how to use them, so it will hopefully be a long process, but I'll finish it by the end of the devlog. The first thing I did was make the current arms invisible to players other than the one who owns those arms. This just makes the gun float, which already looks a bit better. But the floating gun is in a weird position currently, which will look a lot worse if I add inverse kinematic arms. So I decided to hide that too and add a fake gun that is only visible to other players, and move the gun to a different position. In order to make this fake gun, I just copied the gun, moved it over a bit, and made it so that the gun script can handle another animator. Okay, now it's time for the hard part, inverse kinematics. There are thousands of different scripts for it online, and a few do-it-yourself tutorials. Initially I tried one of these tutorials, but it was super complicated and probably too advanced for my need, so I just decided to grab a pre-made one, because hopefully that would simplify it for my small brain. Yeah, not really. I first tried using Unity's own animation rigging kit, but it didn't really work, and instead of struggling to use another overcomplicated system, I just tried another one. This one was super simple and was actually working in the editor, so I implemented it into my game, but it didn't handle rotation, which does not look good for my arms, so I decided to try it one more time to get one. I finally found one that works, and it's open source and everything, so thank you to Kite Pro for making this great asset, link in the description. It works quite well, and I was all ready to implement it and be done. Then I realized that it would probably be better if the arms were actually part of the player's body. And then I realized that I needed to redo the player's animation so that the arms would do something whenever you aren't holding a gun. So I finally decided that before I went to the trouble of implementing inverse kinematics, I needed to make sure that I had a complete player model. So the process of making the new player models and animations were pretty straightforward. I just stuck some arms on the old model and used mix mode to auto-rig these arms. Then I animated it based on a reference. Only issue is, it sucked. So I got rid of the old reference and used this run cycle I created a while back but never got to use because I redid the player model. I used it as a reference and ended up with a somewhat decent run cycle. It's still pretty goofy, but whatever, it's a lot better than the other one. Next devlog, I plan on importing this animation and making it so the arms are inverse kinematic when holding a gun and they are animated when not. But I had spent a very long time on inverse kinematics at this point, so I decided to finally do something else and add a new gun into the game. I have a few ideas for new guns. A sniper would be cool, a grenade launcher would be pretty nice as well, but I decided on a revolver because 1, a grenade launcher needs grenades, and those aren't quite finished. 2, a sniper sounds hard to model. And 3, the revolver sounds that came with my sound pack are really good and I just want to use them. Actually, the main reason is just 3, but whatever. So I found a reference for the revolver and began modeling it. The revolver took the longest to model out of all the guns that I've made so far. It's probably my favorite looking as well though. It's not got one of those pullbacks on the back, and it looks a bit more modern than a Wild West revolver, but it's not got a goring gunmetal black one, so I think it strikes a nice balance. After modeling it, I rigged it and got to work animating it. The shooting and everything were easy, but the reload took a while to get right. I decided to just go completely unrealistic with it and made it fling open, fling bullets into it, and then fling it shut. Just one of these reloads would realistically probably break a revolver, but it's a video game, so it's perfectly fine. The pickup animation was pretty much straight up ripped from CSGO, but it looks nice, so whatever. After animation, it was time for my favorite part, importing. But surprisingly, it wasn't that awful this time. I set up animations, made a new gun object, and got it sort of working. I then added the sounds from the sound pack, and set up a reload sound effect in Audacity. And then it was working slightly better. Then I adjusted the animation in Blender to properly hide the left arm when reloading and made the shooting just a bit more powerful. Then I fixed up a few more bugs and adjusted its damage, and it was done. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that I got done in these 2 weeks. I was busy for most of the first week, so admittedly I didn't get too much done. But hopefully next devlog I'll be able to tie up all these unfinished features. Before I'm done, I'm just going to insert a 30-second TikTok I made for this video. It's nothing special, but now I'm making these to promote my YouTube and game, so if you care about TikTok like at all, then you can check them out. Link in the description.
This is how I add new guns to my game Couch Combat. First, I find some references and model the gun. Then I rig that model and animate it in Blender using my arm rig. After that, I import it into Unity, set up the animations, and create an animation controller. Then I bug fix it, add sounds, and polish it up. Full video on my YouTube.
Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe if you please. Bye.